Hello and welcome to the Tales of Success channel with me, Vikki Sharpe. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 3 elements that you need to achieve training success and why getting this right can affect all of your training, particularly loose lead walking. Teaching a Labrador to do anything is a journey, and depending on the skill or behaviour that you're trying to teach, it can be really straightforward, it can be a quick journey, or it can be really, really slow. And those slow journeys can often have twists and turns, they can have obstacles and lots of challenges en route as well. It doesn't matter if your training journey is quick and straightforward or slow and steady. You'll need to make sure that you're giving your Labrador the best chance of achieving success. And that is done by making sure that these 3 elements are working alongside each other in perfect harmony and not fighting against each other. Have you noticed that your Labrador performs a skill or behaviour amazingly well at home, but then all training seems to go out of the window as soon as you try it somewhere new? Chances are you have, and actually I think we've all been there at some point. Let me explain to you why this is. The first element to consider is knowledge. Does your Labrador really know what you're asking them to do? And do they know how to do it, even if you haven't got a piece of food in your hand to bribe them? Whether you've just answered yes or no, I urge you to put it to the test by randomly standing in the middle of your living room and ask your dog to perform a skill. You can ask them to sit down, to lay down, to heel, anything at all that you like. And if they do what you've just asked them to do, great work. You know that they fully understand what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. If your dog stares at you blank and they look a little confused, they probably don't 100% know what they're supposed to be doing yet. If you didn't get the response you're expecting, don't be disheartened. Just means that you've got a little more work to do to help your Labrador understand what they should be doing. The second element that we must consider is motivation. Does your Labrador feel incentivized enough to do what you're asking them to do? Does the reward on offer motivate them enough to do what you are asking? Okay, so rewards and motivations are a controversial topic amongst some in the dog training world. It's previously been thought that a dog should just do what it's told, and the occasional pat on the head should be enough reward for them. This is a bit of an outdated approach in my mind, and I strongly believe that we need to motivate and reward our dogs for the hard work that they do. Your Labrador must know that they're going to be incentivized, acknowledged and rewarded for performing the job that you ask them to do. And that reward doesn't need to be food. It could be toys, it could be attention, it could be to perform a retrieve or time to sniff. It's anything at all that your Labrador really enjoys. The reward that your dog enjoys will be what you use to motivate them. And if we do have people listening to this that aren't yet sold on the idea of providing rewards and motivations to their Labrador, I want you to ask yourself, would you go to work knowing you wouldn't get paid? I suspect the answer to that question is probably no. The third element to consider is environment. Is your Labrador being asked to perform the skill or behaviour in an environment that they can achieve success? Just because they can perform a skill or behaviour in a quiet room doesn't mean that they can do it in a busy park with lots of exciting distractions. Some environments have so many distractions that your dog becomes incapable of performing the skill or behaviour. If the environment you put them in is giving an abundance of new smells, sounds and sights, then their ability to function normally becomes diminished. It's simply too much stimulation for their brains to function properly. Every time you expose your Labrador to a new environment, you must consider making the skill or behaviour you want them to perform easier or change your expectation of them and what they should achieve. A great way to think about environments is to look at how it affects humans. Ask a 13-year-old to do their maths homework in a nice quiet room, sat at a desk in the study, with no distractions around. Chances are they'll do that homework to a really good standard and probably in quite good time too. Now ask the same child to do the same homework while sitting in front of the sofa, watching their favorite TV program with their three best mates there. They got a pizza in front of them and some snacks and maybe even a games console. Most kids would really struggle to give their maths homework the same level of attention in that particular setting. Labradors aren't too different to kids in that sense. So never ever underestimate the importance of giving the right environment to your Labrador. We now know what the three key elements are. We can look at it in a loose lead walking scenario. A huge amount of inquiries that we receive here at Tales of Success are in relation to Labradors being able to walk really nicely in the home environment, but then they pull like a freight train as soon as they go outdoors. And visiting these three key elements is the first thing that we would recommend. Starting off at knowledge. Do you have an instructional word, a way to tell your dog what behavior you want them to do? Often this is the word heel or something similar. And whatever your instructional word is, I want you to say it randomly at home and just see what happens. If your dog comes to stand by your leg, then great job. If not, they probably don't know the meaning of the word that you're giving them. So you've got a little bit more work to do just to get them used to that word and that instruction that you're giving them. Let's assume that they came to your leg and they adopted that heel position that you were looking for. You can now move on to the next element, which is motivations. Does your Labrador feel rewarded for coming to heel? Was the reward that you gave them good enough to get them to do it again and again and again? And is it good enough to get them to do it in a different location? Or are you going to need to give them something a little bit more special? Once you've found a reward that motivates your Labrador enough for them to perform the skill when asked, think about the third element, which is the environment. The good news at this point is that you're confident that your Labrador can do the skill and that they feel rewarded enough to do it. This means that potentially it's the environment which is your sticking point. If the environment is giving too much stimulation and offering too many distractions, your Labrador will not be able to perform how you would like them to. A stimulating environment starts to give your dog more reward than you ever could. They get lots of amazing smells, new sounds and sights and distractions, all the things that they are likely to find more rewarding than what you are currently offering. And because of that, you either need to up your rewards and motivations or make the environment less distracting. Just because you want to take your Labrador to the beach for a nice walk doesn't mean that they are ready for an environment like that yet. Environment is such a big hurdle for most Labradors because they only get to go out of the house maybe once or twice a day. And that leaves them little chance to become familiar with their surroundings. So getting your Labrador into their environments little and often is a really good idea. It helps to make the environment less exciting because they become more familiar with it. It's important to remember that no masterpiece is created quickly. I know we all dream of those relaxed walks with your Labrador, but it doesn't always come quickly or easily to them. Having a plan and being consistent will help you reach your end goal. And without all of these three elements being in play, you simply won't achieve the results that you hoped for. I could talk for quite literally hours about loose lead walking and how to get it right. If you want to delve into it in much more detail, I recommend that you join us at one of our lead walking masterclass webinars, or you can contact us at talesofsuccess.com. But for now, I do hope this video has given you plenty to think about to help with your training journey.